at the celebration banquet. The CEO's fiancée walked up to me arm in arm with her male assistant. I pretended not to see her. The chairman came over to toast me directly, and as he brushed past me, she froze on the spot. At the height of the celebration banquet, my fiancée, Lin Jinlu, walked arm in arm with her male assistant, Song Jingchen, from the end of the red carpet toward the main table. She saw me sitting in the corner, but only glanced at me briefly, as if I were just some ordinary employee who shouldn't be there. I didn't stand up, nor did I call out to her. I just turned on my phone's voice recorder and slipped it into my suit's inner pocket. Tonight was the celebration banquet for Xingyao Technology's successful acquisition of the 3-year Beichin Risk Control System contract. The hall was dazzling with lights. Champagne towers stood on both sides of the stage, and the screen cycled through photos of Song Jingchen. The headline was eye-catching. Song Jingchen, general manager of the Beichin project, leads Xingyao to a key breakthrough. I looked at that line and smiled. The first line of code for the Beichin system was written by me 3 years ago. The core risk control model was built by me over 97 sleepless nights. The first test crash with the client, the Xie group, was remotely fixed by me at 2:00 in the morning. Yet tonight, all the applause went to Song Jingchen. He stood in a white suit beside Lin Jinlu, bending down to adjust her shawl. His movements were as intimate as if he were half the man of the house. Lin Jinlu didn't pull away. She even casually rested her hand on his arm. Someone started cheering. Lin always has such great chemistry with Assistant Song. Assistant Song is young and talented. Lin always has good taste. Tonight's biggest contributor must be Assistant Song, right? Song Jingchen smiled humbly. It's all thanks to Lin always giving me the opportunity. After saying that, his gaze swept over the crowd and landed on me. That look was light, but smug. I picked up my glass and took a sip of water. Old Jiang from the tech department beside me lowered his voice. Yan-Chi, aren't you angry? I asked. Angry about what? He pointed at the stage. You worked on Beichin for 3 years, and now the credit goes to Song Jingchen. I also saw the bonus list. You only got a participation award. I set down my glass. How much is the participation award? Old Jiang smiled bitterly. 5.000. I nodded. 3 years. 5.000. Old Jiang sighed. And Lin always. Aren't you two getting married next month? How can she do this? I didn't answer because I wanted to know. 3 months ago, Song Jingchen returned from abroad and became Lin Jianlu's special assistant. He claimed he had managed large-scale risk control projects overseas. Lin Jianlu believed him. She gave him an office, a team, and the authority to report on projects. I warned her that Song Jingchen's resume had issues. She said I was being petty. I told her the Beichin system couldn't be handed over to someone who didn't understand the underlying architecture. She said I wasn't supporting her work. Later, Song Jingchen started appearing at every dinner, every business trip, and in every photo with her. I asked her where the boundaries were. She frowned and said, Zhao Yan-Chi, can you grow up? Jingchen is just an assistant. Tonight, she was arm in arm with this just an assistant man walking past my table in front of everyone. Song Jingchen paused. He raised his glass to me. Consultant Zhao, why are you sitting so far away tonight? You also participated in the Beichin project. You should be happy. He emphasized the word participated heavily. A few people at the table heard it. Some lowered their heads, pretending not to. Others gave awkward smiles. Lin Jianlu also stopped. She looked at me, her tone flat. Yan-Chi, this is the company celebration banquet. Don't put on a long face. It ruins the mood. I looked up at her. Am I putting on a long face? She was taken aback. Song Jingchen immediately stepped in with a smile. Lin always. Consultant Joe might be too tired. After all, technical support is pretty draining. Technical support. The core architect of the Beichin system, was reduced to technical support in his mouth. Lin Jianlu didn't correct him. She just said, then drink less. I have things to do later, so I might not be able to take you home. With that, she continued walking arm in arm with Song Jingchen. As they brushed past me, I caught the familiar woody perfume on her and the same scent tail note on Song Jingchen. I glanced down at my phone. The recording was still running. On stage, the host invited Lin Jianlu to speak. She stood under the spotlight, beautiful, cold, and commanding. The success of the Beichen project is thanks to the efforts of every team member, especially Jingchen, who, after returning from abroad, took on the pressure and completed key negotiations and technical integration. Applause rang out. Song Jingchen stood up and gave a slight bow. Lin Jianlu looked at him with a smile in her eyes. That kind of smile, I hadn't seen it in a long time. The host continued, "Now, let's welcome Mr. Song Jingchen to the stage to share the story behind the Beichen project." Song Jingchen walked up to the stage. He stood in front of the big screen, speaking with ease. The hardest part of the Beichen system was the multidimensional dynamic risk control chain. I proposed an idea back then, cross-referencing customer behavior, supplier nodes, and financial risk in 3 layers. When I heard that, I tapped my finger lightly against the rim of my glass. Those words were written in the project white paper I drafted 6 months ago. Song Jingchen didn't just steal the system. He lifted my exact phrasing, word for word, onto that stage. Old Zhang's face shifted. "Isn't that your plan?" I didn't answer. I pulled out my phone and sent a message to my lawyer, Gu Chenjian, at the celebration banquet. "He's starting to publicly claim credit." Gu Chenjian replied quickly, "Keep the audio and video recordings. Wait until he's done. The evidence will be stronger." I set my phone face down on the table. On stage, Song Jingshan was wrapping up, his tone growing more impassioned. "Beichen isn't the achievement of one person. It's the achievement of Xingyao. But I'm honored to have pulled it out of the technical quagmire at the most critical moment." The whole room applauded. Lin Jinlu applauded, too. I didn't move. Just then, the banquet hall entrance suddenly fell silent. Xie Chonghua, chairman of the Xie Group, walked in. He was the most important client tonight and the real decision-maker behind the Beichen project. Lin Jinlu immediately led Song Jingshan over to greet him. "Chairman Xie, you're here." Xie Chonghua nodded, but his gaze bypassed her and landed directly on me. I stood up, glass in hand. He strode toward me. Every eye in the room followed him. The smile on Lin Jinlu's face froze for a moment. Song Jingshan was stunned, too. Xie Chonghua stopped in front of me and raised his glass personally. "Mr. Zhou, now that Beichen is live, let me toast you first." The hall went dead silent. I picked up my glass and clinked it lightly with his. "You're too kind, Chairman Xie." Xie Chonghua smiled. "Not at all. Without you, the Xie Group wouldn't have signed that 3-year contract." As those words landed, everyone turned to look at me. Lin Jinlu stood 2 steps away, her face slowly draining of color. Song Jingshan's smile froze completely. Xie Chonghua turned with his glass and brushed past Lin Jinlu. He paused briefly and said flatly, "Quite a lively celebration, President Lin. Only, it seems you invited the wrong person to the spotlight." Lin Jinlu was stunned on the spot. I set my glass down and grabbed my coat. The first act was enough. As I walked out of the banquet hall, the murmurs behind me surged like a tide. "Chairman Xia just toasted Zhou Yanqi." He said without Zhou Yanqi, the Xia Group wouldn't sign the contract. Then what was Song Jingshan talking about just now? Did President Lin mess up? I didn't look back. Just as the elevator doors were about to close, a hand slid in. Lin Jianlu had chased after me. She was wearing a black gown with the celebration host's corsage pinned to her chest. That flower looked glaring under the elevator's white light. She stared at me, her voice low. "Zhou Yanqi, what did you mean by that just now?" I looked up. "Which part? Why did Chairman Xia toast you?" I let out a faint smile. "You shouldn't be asking me. You should ask Chairman Xia." Her brow furrowed deeper. "Did you contact the Xia Group behind my back?" The elevator was silent. I looked at her. Lin Jianlu. From the very first test of the Beichen project, I was the one liaising with the Xia Group's tech team. And now you're asking if I contacted them behind your back. Her breath caught. Then her tone turned cold again. "Then why didn't you tell me in advance that Chairman Xia would do this?" "Tell you, so you could have Song Jingshan standing right next to me ahead of time." Her face shifted slightly. Don't make this sound so ugly. Tonight is the company celebration banquet. Jingshan spoke on behalf of the company. What's wrong with that? I nodded. Nothing. My calm response threw her off. What exactly are you trying to stir up? I pulled out my phone and played the audio I just recorded. Song Jingshan's voice rang out clearly. I proposed an idea back then, cross-referencing customer behavior, supplier nodes, and financial risk in 3 layers. I hit pause. Who wrote those words? Lin Jianlu looked away. Project materials are shared by the team, so he can take my white paper and use it as his speech. Zhou Yanqi. Her voice dropped, but it was laced with anger. Can you stop obsessing over the byline? The company landing the contract benefits everyone. Jing Chen just got back to the country and needs a foothold. I looked at her. So, my work is his opportunity. She paused for a second. You're already my fiancé. Xing Yao's success is your success. Isn't it? I'd heard that line many times, when I stayed up late fixing her system. She said Xing Yao's future is our future. When I drank to win over clients for her. She said once the company stabilizes, we'll get married. When I lent Xing Yao temporary access to Beichen's underlying system, she said there's no need to be so calculating between husband and wife. But when the celebration banquet came, the person at the head table was Song Jingchun. The one standing under the spotlight was Song Jingchun, the one taking the bonus, the byline, and the applause was still Song Jingchun. I was just the fiancé in the corner who shouldn't make a fuss. The elevator reached the underground parking lot. I walked out. Lin Jinlu clicked her high heels and caught up. Yanqi, don't leave yet. That remark from Director Xie tonight already made Jingchun look bad. Go back and explain to everyone that you're just a technical consultant. Don't let this blow up. I stopped. You want me to go back and explain? Her tone softened a little. I'm not asking you to bow down, just to consider the bigger picture. I turned to face her. Explain what? That Director Xie only toasted you out of politeness. She pursed her lips. Something like that. I laughed. Lin Jinlu, do you know why Xie Corporation signed a 3-year contract with Xing Yao? She frowned. Because the company's proposal was complete and the pricing was reasonable. Wrong. I pulled out an email. Because Xie Corporation only accepts the original authorization chain of Beichen's system. The email was from Xie Corporation's technical committee. The recipient was me. CC'd to Lin Jinlu. The timestamp was 2 months ago. Lin Jinlu stared at the email, her face changing. I said, they explicitly required the underlying system rights holder to be involved in the delivery. You read it. Her lips moved. I was too busy at the time. I didn't notice. You did not notice. I looked at her. You thought I wouldn't care. Lin Jinlu's face turned ugly. Just then, Song Jingchen also ran out. The composure from the stage was gone from his face. Anger simmering in his eyes. Consultant Joe, you played a big game tonight. I ignored him. He walked over to Lin Jinlu, standing close like he was staking a claim. I'll explain things to Director Xia. Don't cause more trouble. I looked at him. What will you explain? Song Jingchen sneered. That you were just early-stage technical support. The follow-up integration, business execution, and client communication were all done by me. I nodded. Fine. I held my phone up to him. Then explain this now. Why can't the second layer of Beichen's 3-tier dynamic risk control chain be deployed independently? Song Jingchen's expression froze. Lin Jinlu glanced at him. He quickly regained his composure. There's no need to discuss technical details like this in the parking lot. You went into plenty of detail on stage just now. His face darkened. Zhou Yanqi, don't think that one toast from Director Xia means you can ride roughshod over the company. Don't forget. You're not even a formal executive. I put my phone away. I never planned to be your executive. Lin Jinlu frowned immediately. What do you mean? I pulled a document from my bag and handed it to her. She glanced down. Her face instantly changed. It was the expiration notice for Beichen's temporary system authorization. The expiration date was just 3 days away. Lin Jinlu's breath caught. You're threatening me with the authorization now. It's not a threat. I looked at her. It's a reminder. Since you already have President Song in charge, then in 3 days, he can handle the technical review for the renewal. Song Jinshin's face paled slightly. Lin Jinlu panicked. Zhou Yanqi, Beichin just signed the contract. If you pull out now, the company will be in big trouble. I said, then let tonight's hero handle it. Her eyes finally showed panic. Do you have to push me like this? I didn't answer because my phone buzzed. It was a message from Gu Qinzhen. Celebration banquet video backed up. Song Jinshin's public credit stealing fully recorded. Authorization expiration notice sent to Xingyao's legal department. I put the phone back in my pocket, turned and got into the car. Lin Jinlu stood outside the car, her voice trembling. Zhou Yanqi, if you leave today, what about our wedding? I looked at her. Wedding? When you stood on stage with someone else tonight, did you think about a wedding? Her face went pale. The car door slammed shut. I started the engine. In the rearview mirror, Song Jinshin steadied her shoulder. This time, it didn't sting anymore because I'd already decided to kick both of them out of my life. The next morning, Xingyao Tech held the Beichin project review meeting. When I got to the conference room, it was already packed. Lin Jinlu sat at the head of the table. Song Jinshin sat to her right, a stack of documents in front of him. My usual seat had been moved to the very end. The nameplate on the table read 2 words, consultant. I glanced at it, pulled out the chair, and sat down. Lin Jinlu didn't look at me. Song Jinshin spoke first. Everyone's here. Let's begin. He'd clearly become the real person in charge of the project. First up, announcing bonuses and position adjustments. The HR manager pulled out a list. Beichin Project Special Contribution Award. Song Jinshin. Bonus 800.000 yuan. Applause rippled through the room. Song Jinshin smiled and nodded. Thanks, Lin. And thanks to everyone for the support. The HR manager continued. Project Collaboration Award. Zhou Yanqi. Bonus 5.000 yuan. The room went quiet for a moment. Someone took a sip of water. Someone else sneaked a glance at me. Song Jinshin let out a small laugh. Consultant Zhou handled some technical support. His contribution was limited, but the company doesn't shortchange anyone. I looked at him, who decided on 800.000 versus 5.000. Song Jinshin said, the project committee's comprehensive assessment. I asked, what's the project committee member list? His face stiffened. Lin Jianlu finally spoke up. Yanqi, the bonus isn't the focus today. Then what is? She slid a handover agreement in front of me. Beichin is entering the delivery phase and needs stable management. Hand over the underlying keys, technical docs, and client contact records to Jinshin. I picked up the agreement and flipped through 2 pages. On the last page, there was a line. Zhou Yanqi confirms that all technical results related to the Beichin system belong to Xingyao Tech with subsequent management fully handled by Song Jingchun. I laughed. This isn't a handover agreement. This is a rights waiver. Lin Jianlu frowned. Don't blow this out of proportion. The company needs unified management. I put the agreement back on the table. Unified management is fine, but giving up my credit and rights? No way. Song Jinshin tapped the table lightly. Consultant Zhou. Don't forget Beichin used company servers and the team was company staff. The best. You were an early contributor. I looked up at him. When did the company start paying for the server fees? He froze. I opened my laptop and projected first slide. Early Beichin server bills. Beiyu. Zhou Yanqi's personal account. Second slide. External audit fees for the risk model. Beiyu. Zhou Yanqi. Third slide. Xie Group's first test invitation recipient. Zhou Yanqi. The room fell silent. I turned to Song. Jinshin. You say the company incubated Beichin. Then tell me, last April, why did the company reject the project? I pulled up an email. Zenda. Lin Jianlu. Content. Just 1 line. Beichin's direction has too long a payback period. Not approving for now. If Yanqi insists, he can try on his own. Lin Jianlu's face changed. I looked at her. Do you remember this email? Her fingers tightened. The company was tight on funds back then. So I did it myself. I opened another document. Last August, after Beichin passed CS's first round of tests, Xingyao signed a temporary authorization with me. I pointed at the screen. Valid for 1 year. 3 days left until it expires. Murmurs started in the room. Song Jingchen jumped in. Even so, you can't just choke the company at the last minute. I didn't wait until the last minute. I opened email records. I sent reminders about the authorization expiration 3 times. First, a month ago. Second, 2 weeks ago. Third, last night. I looked at Lin Jianlu. You read every single one. Lin Jianlu's face darkened. I thought we didn't need to nitpick like this between us. I nodded. I used to think that too. That's why you dared to count me as 5.000 yuan at the celebration banquet. When those words landed, no one in the room dared to speak. Song Jingchen's face was ugly. Zhou Yanqi, are you here for a meeting or to cause trouble? I turned off the projector. For the meeting. Then sign it. He pushed the agreement over again. I picked up the pen. Lin Jianlu's expression relaxed slightly. Song Jingchen also flashed a hint of smugness. I wrote 4 words in the signature line. Refused to sign. Then I put the pen down. This agreement. I'll hand it over to the lawyer. Song Jingchen shot up from his seat. What do you mean? It means, from today on, all communication involving Beichen's underlying rights goes through the legal process. Lin Jianlu's face went cold. Zhou Yanqi, do you have to drag personal feelings into the company? I stood up. I'm not the one dragging them in. You're the ones treating my work as a gift to flatter your male assistant. Her face paled. Song Jingshan snapped. Watch your mouth. I looked at him. Are you worthy? The meeting room fell dead silent. Lin Jianlu slammed the table. Enough. I grabbed my laptop and headed for the door. She called out behind me. Zhou Yanqi, if you walk out of this meeting room today, I'll suspend all your project permissions. I stopped, turned around. President Lin, you can suspend my account at Xingyao, but Beichen's underlying permissions aren't on Xingyao servers. Song Jingshan's face went completely white. I pushed open the meeting room door. Outside, compliance manager Elon was standing right there. She glanced at me and handed a document to Lin Jianlu. President Lin, legal just received Mr. Zhou's lawyer's letter. During the dispute over Beichen's system ownership, the company cannot arbitrarily change the attribution of signatures, bonuses, or technical managers. Lin Jianlu took the document, her fingers visibly trembling. I didn't look back. The first formal counterattack had already landed on her desk. I got my Xingyao office account suspended at 2:00 in the afternoon. HR sent a notice. Due to major disputes in project communication, Zhou Yanqi is temporarily barred from entering the core RD area. I read it and replied with just 2 words. Received. 10 minutes later, Song Jingshan walked up to my desk with 2 admin staff. Consultant Zhou, please hand over the company computer. He spoke loudly enough for the entire tech department to hear. I looked up at him. The company computer is on the desk. He scanned the area, and the portable hard drive, project files, client records. I opened the drawer. Inside was just a water bottle and a few pens. Nothing. Song Jingshan sneered. Zhou Yanqi, don't make me have security search your bag. Old Jiang stood up. Assistant Song, is that necessary? Yanqi's been with the company for years. Song Jingshan cut him off immediately. Company data security is no small matter. Who knows if someone might take core assets out of spite over a bonus. The people around us all had their expressions shift. I stood up and placed my bag on the desk. Search it. Song Jingshan froze for a second. I unzipped it. Inside was only my personal laptop, contract files, and an old notebook. The admin staff searched through it and found none of the so-called company materials. Song Jingshan's face was a bit red. He reached for my personal laptop. I grabbed his wrist. This doesn't belong to Xingyao, he said coldly. Beichen's files might be in it. Then have legal get a court order. My voice wasn't loud, but the entire office went quiet. Song Jingshan pulled his hand back. What's with the high and mighty act? Without President Lin, you wouldn't even get through Xingyao's door. I smiled. Then you better keep a close eye on that door. I might not want to walk through it in the future. Just then, Lin Jianlu walked over from the elevator. She saw the scene and frowned deeply. What's going on? Song Jingshan immediately dropped his anger. President Lin. I was just following procedure to retrieve equipment. Consultant Zhou isn't cooperating. I looked at Lin Jianlu. He wants to search my personal laptop. Lin Jianlu glanced at Song Jingshan, then back at me. If you have nothing to hide, what's the harm in letting him take a look? I was silent for 2 seconds. Then I smiled. Lin Jianlu, do you even know what that statement means? She avoided my gaze. I just want this resolved quickly. How? I picked up my bag. By handing over my personal laptop, letting Song Jingshan dig through my files, and giving him the last bit of Beichen's rights. 2. She got a bit flustered. Yanqi, do you have to see everyone as the bad guy? Jingshin is helping the company, not targeting you. I nod. All right. Then have him explain the underlying key rotation logic of the Beichen system in front of the entire tech department. Song Jingshin's face stiffened. Lin Jianlu gritted her teeth. Here you go again. Here I go, clears throat, again. You always humiliate him with technical questions. Is that fun? I looked at her. If he's going to take over the technical core, he has to answer technical questions. Lin Jianlu's face showed disappointment. Zhou Yanqi, I used to think you were just quiet. Now I realize you have this strong need for control. 2. As soon as she said that, everyone around lowered their heads. I wasn't angry. I just found it absurd. Me protecting my own work is called control. Song Jingshin stealing my credit is called helping the company. I pulled out my phone and opened the recording. Lin Jianlu, I'll keep what you just said. Her face changed. You're recording. Since you started reclaiming my equipment, I've been recording. Song Jingshin snapped. You're invading privacy. Elon walked out of the elevator and spoke calmly. Recording work-related communication in an open office area for labor disputes and rights protection isn't automatically illegal. Song Jingshin's face turned ugly. Lin Jianlu looked at Elon. What are you doing here? Elon handed her the documents. Legal reminder. Mr. Zhou's personal devices cannot be forcibly inspected. Otherwise, the company bears the risk of infringement. Lin Jianlu took the documents, her face growing darker. I slung my bag over my shoulder. Since the equipment has been reclaimed, can I go now? She looked at me. Let's talk tonight at home. No. Clear's throat, she froze. I placed a key on the table. Here's the apartment key. I'll move out in a few days. Her pupils contracted. Zhou Yanqi, what do you mean? It means the wedding is on hold. The office went silent instantly. Song Jingshin's eyes flickered with a trace of triumph, quickly suppressed. Lin Jianlu's voice trembled. You're threatening me with the wedding. I looked at her. I'm not threatening. I'm informing. Her face turned pale. Just because of the celebration banquet. Just because of a credit. You want to cancel the wedding. I pulled out my phone and opened a photo. It was a surveillance screenshot from backstage at the celebration banquet. In the frame, she was bent over adjusting Song Jingshin's tie. Song Jingshin was holding her hand. She didn't pull away. I held the phone up to her. Because of this, she glanced at it, her face freezing. Song Jingshin quickly said, that was just a matter of etiquette. I laughed. Etiquette requires holding hands on the red carpet. Etiquette requires wearing the same cologne. Etiquette requires you speaking up for him while I'm being mocked by the whole room. Lin Jianlu's eyes reddened. You actually investigated me. It's not investigating. I put my phone away. It's you two being too careless. I turned and walked away. Behind me, Lin Jianlu suddenly called out. Zhou Yanqi, if you walk out today, I won't come running after you. I didn't look back. The moment the elevator doors closed, I heard Song Jingshin comforting her in a low voice. Lin, don't be upset. He's just jealous. I looked at my reflection in the elevator mirror. Jealous? No, I'm cutting my losses. The day after I moved out of Lin Jianlu's apartment, Xingyao Tech ran into trouble. The Xie Group demanded a pre-delivery stress retest of the Beijing system. Test time, 3.00 p.m. Person in charge, Song Jingshin. Lin Jianlu didn't contact me. She was probably still sulking. Or maybe Song Jingshin told her I wasn't needed. 3:10 p.m. Lao Zhang texted me. Yanqi, the stress test is stuck. I replied, stuck where? Layer 2 of the dynamic risk chain. Song Jinshin had them deploy it separately, and it triggered a self-lock. I looked at the message and smiled. The question I asked him yesterday was exactly this. Layer 2 of the Baichin system can't be split off because it's bound to Layer 3 with reverse verification. Forcing a split makes the system flag it as an abnormal call. 3:20 p.m. Lin Jinlu texted. Again, the Xie Group tech team looks pissed. Song Jingshan says it's a backdoor you left. My eyes went cold. Of course, when you can't do it yourself, blame it on someone else's backdoor. 3:40 p.m. Lin Jinlu finally called. I didn't answer. She called again. I still didn't answer. At 4:00 p.m. E. Long sent me an email. Subject: Compliance documentation for Baichin stress test anomaly incident. Attachment: Meeting minutes. Song Jingshan said clearly at the meeting. Before Zhou Yanqi resigned, he maliciously set up permission barriers, causing the test to fail. Lin Jinlu didn't argue. She only said, record it first. We'll assign blame later. After reading it, I forwarded it directly to Gu Qinzhen. Gu Qinzhen replied, we can prepare to counterattack. I closed my laptop at 4:30. I received a call from Xie Chongyu's secretary. Mr. Zhou, Chairman Xie would like to see you. I said, sure. Half an hour later, I arrived at Xie Group. In the conference room, Xie Chongyu sat at the head of the table. Lin Jinlu, Song Jingshan, and the Xingyao technical team were all there. When I pushed the door open, everyone looked at me. Lin Jinlu's expression was complicated, but Song Jingshan spoke first. Consultant Zhou, perfect timing. Explain why there's an undisclosed self-lock mechanism in the system. I pulled out a chair and sat down. You want me to explain? Of course. He turned his laptop toward me. The test failure logs are here. We have reasonable suspicion that you set up barriers before resigning. I glanced at the screen. Are you sure this is a barrier? Song Jingshan sneered. What else could it be? I looked at the Xie Group technical lead. Please open Chapter 7 of the system white paper. He immediately projected it. The chapter title was clear. Self-lock mechanism for abnormal split calls. I pointed at the screen. This isn't a backdoor. It's a delivery security mechanism. During the first test last year, Xie Group requested a safeguard to prevent suppliers from splitting core modules for resale. So, this self-lock was added. The Xie Group technical lead nodded. That's right, we requested it. Song Jingshan's expression shifted slightly. I continued. Section 3 of Chapter 7 in the white paper clearly states that the second layer link must not be deployed independently without third layer reverse validation. I looked at Song Jingshan. You didn't read it. The room fell silent. Lin Jinlu's face darkened. Song Jingshan forced himself to say, there was too much material. The team overlooked it. That's normal. I nodded. Then why did you claim I maliciously set up barriers? His lips twitched. I pulled out my phone and opened the meeting minutes Elon had sent. Says here, Mr. Song Jingshan accused Zhou Yanqi of setting up permission barriers before resigning. I turned the screen toward Xie Chongyue. Chairman Xie, since the Xingyao project lead mistakes a security mechanism for a backdoor, I suggest suspending delivery and reassessing the lead's qualifications. Song Jingshan panicked. What right do you have to suggest a suspension? Xie Chongyue raised a hand to cut him off. Mr. Zhou has that right. Song Jingshan froze. Xie Chongyue looked at Lin Jinlu. General Lin, didn't you inform Assistant Song one of Xie Group's signing conditions was that Mr. Zhou participate in core delivery? Lin Jinlu's face went pale for a moment. She knew, of course, but she hadn't told Song Jingshan, nor anyone else in the company. She'd been trying to keep my existence in the shadows. Xia Chuanguang projected the contract supplementary clause onto the screen. It read, during the delivery of the Baichin system, the underlying architecture rights holder, Zhou Yanqi, must participate in core node confirmation. If the rights holder withdraws, Xia Group reserves the right to suspend cooperation. Dead silence filled the room. Sweat beaded on Song Jingshan's forehead. I looked at Lin Jianlu. You signed this supplementary clause. Her voice was low. I know. I asked, Then why did you revoke my permissions? She didn't answer. Xia Chuanguang's face darkened. General Lin, Xia Group chose Xingyao because of Beichen, not because of who's backing whom internally. Song Jingshan's face flushed red and white. I stood up. Since we've confirmed everything today, I'll take my leave. Lin Jianlu stood up. Too. Yanqi, let's talk. I looked at Xia Chuanguang. Chairman Xia, for future technical communication, please contact my work email directly. Xia Chuanguang nodded. That's only proper. Lin Jianlu's face turned even paler. I walked out of the conference room. She chased me into the hallway. Zhou Yanqi, did you have to embarrass me in front of the client? I stopped. When you let Song Jingshan accuse me of leaving a backdoor in front of the client, did you think I was embarrassed? She was left speechless. I looked at her. Lin Jianlu, this is Song Jingshan's first screw-up. It won't be his last. With that, I turned and left. Behind me, she didn't follow because she finally realized Song Jingshan couldn't handle Beichen, and I was no longer handling her. After the test incident, Lin Jianlu didn't apologize. She took a different approach. She had her mother, Qin Manru, step in. Saturday night, I had just returned to my temporary rental apartment when the doorbell rang. I opened the door, and Qin Manru was standing there. She was wearing a dark purple suit, holding a designer bag, her eyes sweeping from the doorway to the living room. A clear look of disdain on her face. You live here. I didn't let her in. Aunt Qin, something on your mind? She frowned. I'm still Lin Jianlu's mother, and you won't even offer me a cup of tea. I stepped aside. She walked in and sat down on the sofa. Yanqi, the way you and Jianlu are acting is really undignified. I poured a glass of water and set it in front of her. Dignity wasn't something I threw away first. Qin Manru sneered. A man who's too petty just shows he has no class. Jianlu is a CEO. She has to think about the company, clients, the team. She can't be tiptoeing around your fragile ego all the time. I sat across from her. So, she can just hand over my work to Song Jingchen. Hand over. Qin Manru's tone was dripping with contempt. Song Jingchen knows how to talk, how to schmooze, how to be the face Jianlu needs. What about you? Besides writing code, what else can you do? I nodded. So, you're here tonight to ask for the system on Song Jingchen's behalf. Her face darkened for a moment. I'm here to tell you not to mix marriage with work. She pulled an agreement out of her bag and slid it across to me. Sign it, and the wedding goes on as planned. I opened it. Prenuptial agreement. Clause 1. Both parties' assets remain separate after marriage. Clause 2. Zhou Yan she shall not interfere in Xingyao Technologies' operations through the marital relationship. Clause 3. The Beichen system and all related derivative works are permanently assigned to Xingyao Technology. Clause 4. Zhou Yan she waives the right to pursue any claims regarding Song Jingchen's project attribution. Clause 5. If the marriage ends due to Zhou Yan she's fault, he shall not seek any financial compensation. I read it through and let out a laugh. This isn't a prenuptial agreement. This is a surrender document. Qin Manru's face went cold. Don't be ungrateful. Zhen Lu agreeing to marry you is already a huge favor to you. I picked up the agreement. Does Lin Zhen Lu know about this? She said. Of course she does. I pulled out my phone, called Lin Zhen Lu. The call connected quickly. Her voice sounded tired. Yanqi. I cut straight to the chase. Your mom is here at my place with a prenuptial agreement. Permanent rights to Beichen. Drop the case against Song Jingchen. Wedding goes on. Do you know about this? Silence on the other end. Qin Manru sat on the sofa, her expression steady. A few seconds later, Lin Zhen Lu said quietly, I know. I closed my eyes. That last shred of pathetic hope was gone. I asked, is this your idea? She said, Yanqi, I just want to eliminate all the risks. We're getting married. We shouldn't let these things get in the way. Risks, yes. Her voice softened. You're unstable right now, and the company is unstable, too. Just sign it. The wedding goes on, and we can talk about everything else later. I laughed. Talk about it when? She didn't answer. I kept going. When Song Jingchen has a firm grip on Beichen. When the Xia Corporation contract is delivered. When my name is completely erased from the project. She got flustered. Why do you always have to interpret me like that? Because that's exactly what you're doing. Her breath hitched on the other end. Chin Manru said impatiently, Yenchi, stop making a scene. A man who's gotten this far by riding a woman's coattails should know his place. I looked at my phone. Lin Zhenlu, did you hear that? She was silent. I said, your mom says I got where I am by riding your coattails. She finally spoke. Mom says harsh things. Don't take it to heart. What about you? I asked. Do you think that, too? She was quiet for a long time. That silence was clearer than any answer. I hung up. Chin Manru had a triumphant look on her face. See, Jinlu didn't deny it. Yenchi, be smart. Sign the agreement. And you're still the son-in-law of the Lin family. Don't sign. And you're nothing. I picked up the pen. A flicker of satisfaction crossed Chin Manru's eyes. I wrote 4 words on the first page of the agreement. Refused to sign. Then I took a photo and sent it to Gu Chanzhen. Chin Manru's face changed instantly. How dare you? I pushed the agreement back to her. Ms. Chin, from now on, please get out of my apartment. She stood up fuming. Zhao Yenqi, you'll regret this. I opened the door. The one who'll regret this won't be me. She grabbed her bag and left. Half an hour later, a message circulated in Xingyao's internal group chat. Zhao Yenqi is withdrawing from the remaining Beichin delivery due to personal reasons. Signed, Lin Jinlu. At the same time, Song Jingchen updated his moments. A truly mature man never uses feelings to blackmail his career. The attached photo was a picture of him and Lin Jinlu outside the Sia Corporation meeting room. After reading it, I forwarded it to Gu Chanzhen. Gu Chanzhen asked, can we make a move now? I replied, make a move. At 9:00 that evening, on my behalf, Gu Chanzhen sent 3 lawyers' letters to Xingyao Technology, Lin Jinlu, and Song Jingchen. The first demanded the cessation of unauthorized delivery using Beichin system core materials. The second demanded the retraction of the false statement about Zhao Yenqi withdrawing from the project. The third demanded Song Jingchen publicly clarify his false claim of credit for the project results. After sending them, I took off my engagement ring and placed it in the drawer. My phone buzzed. A message from Lin Jinlu. Do you really have to go this far? I replied to her. It's not that I have to. It's that you all pushed me here step by step. After the lawyer's letters were sent, Lin Jinlu didn't choose to communicate. She chose PR. The next morning, a whistleblower article appeared online. The headline was harsh. Female CEO's fiancé demands project shares. Fails. And wreck celebration banquet. The article painted me as a moocher who had leeched off Lin Jinlu for years. It said I was jealous of Song Jingchen being valued. So, I deliberately led Xia Chongwei to toast me at the celebration banquet. Embarrassing Lin Jinlu. It said I used our romantic relationship to access the company's core materials, making a huge demand before marriage for 30% of the Beichin project's profits. The article was accompanied by several photos. One showed me hunched over coding at my workstation at Xingyao. One showed Lin Jinlu speaking at a banquet with me standing behind her. One showed Song Jingchen helping Lin Jinlu out of the meeting room. Beneath each photo were malicious captions. Invisible, fiancé, emotional blackmail behind a strong woman, mature assistant versus out-of-control tech guy. The comment section exploded quickly. Some called me a moocher. Some said tech guys are the scariest. Some said a female CEO like Lin Jinlu had it too rough, making money to support a man only to get bitten back. After reading it, I wasn't angry. I just saved the page. Gu Chanzhen called. That article had paid promotion behind it. I said, I know. Should we release the evidence immediately? No, rush. He paused. What are you waiting for this time? I opened my email. Inside was an anonymous CC from Elon. It was a screenshot of Xingyao's PR payment process. Payment applicant. Chin Manru. Prover. Lin Jinlu. Purpose. Reputation management. I said, waiting for her to sign it herself. Gu Chanzhen laughed. She already signed. Signed. Then we're good to go. At 3:00 that afternoon, I released a full statement. No sob story. No lengthy accusations. Just evidence. Part 1 was the Beichin System project initiation timeline. Xingyao's email rejecting the project initiation. My personal payment records for server and audit fees. Xia Corporation's early testing invitation. Part 2 was the authorization contract. It clearly stated that the underlying rights to Beichin belonged to me, with Xingyao only having a 1-year temporary commercial license. Part 3 was the full video of the celebration banquet. Song Jinchen publicly presenting the content from my white paper as his own work. Lin Jinlu applauding from the stage. Xia Chonghua then toasting me and explicitly stating that without me, Xia Corporation would not have signed the contract. Part 4 was a scanned copy of the prenuptial agreement. Permanent authorization. Waiver of claims. Continuation of the wedding. Part 5 was the truth behind my so-called demand for 30% of the profits. It wasn't a demand. It was a project incentive plan Lin Jinlu had proactively proposed 3 months ago, which she later shelved. I only attached one sentence. What I fought for wasn't shares someone deigned to give me, but the rights that were originally mine. Within an hour of the statement's release, public opinion flipped. People in the comments started digging into Song Jinchen. Does this assistant even understand the tech? That celebration banquet video is too awkward. Even the chairman couldn't stand it. That prenup was brutal. The guy signed away everything. This isn't mooching. This is being used as a tool. That evening, Song Jinchen posted an update. The pure are self-purifying. I won't respond to malicious editing. I saw it and laughed. He still didn't get it. The video was just the first blow. What was truly fatal was his resume. 3 months ago, when I warned Lin Jinlu that Song Jinchen's resume was problematic. She called me petty, but I didn't stop. Had Gu Chang and verify Song Jingchen's overseas experience. His director of international risk control was actually just a short-term translation coordinator for an outsourced team. His master's in overseas fintech was an online course from a diploma mill. His led a $30 million system acquisition couldn't be traced to any corresponding project at all. I never let it out because I was waiting for him to step into the spotlight. The higher a person stands, the clearer the fall. At 9:00 in the evening, Lin Jinlu called. I answered. Her first words were, "Are you satisfied now?" I sat in front of my computer. What do you mean? You put our private matters online for everyone to see, making Starshine a laughingstock. I said calmly, "You were the one who pushed me onto the trending topics first." Her voice faltered. "That was arranged by my mom. The approver was you." Silence on the other end of the line. I continued, "Lin Jinlu, you're always like this. Bad things can be someone else's doing, but you want the credit." Her breathing quickened. "I was just trying to protect the company. Protect the company. So you sacrificed me." Her voice dropped. "Yanqi, I admit this wasn't handled well, but can you stop targeting Jingchen? He's under a lot of pressure now." I laughed. She was still speaking up for Song Jingchen. "He's under pressure because he took something that doesn't belong to him. Don't be so harsh." I looked at the resume verification report on my computer screen. Fine. Then let the facts speak for themselves. At 10:00 the next morning, Guchingan issued the second public statement. The title was Verification Statement on Mr. Song Jingchen's Public Resume and the Authenticity of His Contributions to the North Star Project. Within 10 minutes of the statement's release, public sentiment around Starshine stock price exploded. Lin Jinlu called again. This time, her voice was finally panicked. "Zhou Yanqi, how much more do you have?" I looked out the window. "Enough to let you see him clearly." She didn't speak. I added one more thing. "And enough to let me see you clearly." After Song Jingchen's resume was exposed, Starshine began to shake. Internally, someone from the tech department publicly questioned his qualifications as project lead. The Xie Group sent a letter demanding Starshine resubmit the delivery team list. The board demanded Lin Jianlu explain the true ownership of the North Star project. Lin Jianlu was overwhelmed. Song Jingchen panicked. 2. He made the dumbest choice. He reported me to the police for stealing Starshine's trade secrets. When the police contacted me, I was at Gu Qingyan's law firm. The officer was polite. "Mr. Zhou, Starshine Technology has submitted materials claiming you took core North Star documents and client data before leaving. We need your cooperation for clarification." I said. Sure. Gu Qing'en immediately accompanied me. In the interrogation room, the so-called evidence submitted by Starshine was laid out on the table. A screenshot showed my account had exported North Star client data before being suspended. An internal record showed I had logged into the company document library. There was also Song Jingshan's written statement. He said I threatened to sabotage the North Star delivery because I was unhappy with my bonus. After reading it, I looked up and asked, "Can I see the original logs?" The officer pulled up the logs. I glanced at them and laughed. Gu Qing'en asked, "What's wrong?" I pointed at the IP address. "This export operation wasn't done by me." The officer asked, "First, the export time is 9:47 p.m. By then, my Starshine account had already been deactivated. Second, the IP address came from Starshine's internal network. Third, the device ID for the export is the notebook in Song Jingshan's office." The interrogation room fell silent for a moment. The officer immediately had a technician verify. Half an hour later, the results came back. I was right. The so-called export of client data was actually Song Jingshan using admin privileges to simulate my account's actions. Gu Qing'en placed an audit rule document on the table. Starshine has an internal permission audit mechanism. Any simulated login leaves an admin signature. Please retrieve the full chain. Once the full chain was retrieved, Song Jingshan's name was clearly visible. He hadn't just faked the export record. He had also tried to overwrite the back-end timestamps. But he didn't know that the North Star system's underlying audit chain had an immutable backup. I had designed it to prevent internal fraud among suppliers. Now, it was being used on him. The police asked Song Jingshan to come in for questioning. When he arrived, Lin Jianlu came too. As soon as she walked in, she saw me sitting on the other side of the conference table. Her expression was complicated. Song Jingshan still didn't realize how serious things were. He pointed at me and said, "Zhou Yanqi, don't play innocent. You took the data, put the company in crisis, and now you're trying to turn the tables." I pushed the printed complete audit trail in front of him. "Take a look yourself." Song Jingshan picked it up, and after just 2 lines, his face changed. Lin Jianlu leaned in to look, too. Her face gradually turned pale. "Jingshan, is this your admin signature?" Song Jingshan said urgently. "No, I don't know. It might be a system error." I said, "Aren't you the project lead? You don't even recognize an admin signature." Sweat beaded on his forehead. "Zhou Yanqi, stop being sarcastic." The police officer tapped the table. "Mr. Song, please answer directly. Did you use admin privileges to simulate Mr. Zhou's account?" Song Jingshan's lips went white. Lin Jianlu looked at him, her voice trembling slightly. "Did you really do it?" Song Jingshan snapped his head toward her. "I did it for the company." The moment those words came out, everyone fell silent. I smiled. That phrase was too familiar. Lin Jianlu had said it countless times. For the company, so she could ignore my byline. For the company, so she could make me sign a permanent authorization. For the company, so she could let PR paint me as a kept man. Now Song Jingshan was throwing it back at her. She finally knew how ugly it sounded. Song Jingshan kept explaining. "If I didn't prove Zhou Yanqi was the problem, Sayas would have paused the partnership and the board would have come after you. Jianlu, I was helping you." Lin Jianlu's face was ashen. "You faked evidence to call the cops. And that's helping me." He got flustered. "Then what do you want? Let everyone know Backhen can't survive without him. Let you admit you misjudged someone." Lin Jianlu took a step back. He hit a nerve. Song Jingshan pointed at me, his eyes venomous. "It's all your fault. If you just cooperated with the handover from the start, none of this would have happened." I looked at him. "If you hadn't stolen from the start, none of this would have happened either." The police asked Song Jingshan to stay for further questioning. Lin Jianlu wanted to say something, but in the end, she said nothing as I walked out of the building. She caught up to me. "Yanqi." I stopped. Her eyes were red. I didn't know he'd go this far. I looked at her. "You knew he didn't understand the tech. You knew he took credit for the results. You knew he stood on stage with my plan. And you knew that article wasn't true." Her face was pale as paper. I asked, Did you really not know? Or did you just not want to know? She couldn't speak. I kept walking. Behind me, she said softly, "Can I suspend him now?" I didn't look back. Too late. That night, Xingyao released an announcement. Song Jingchen was Jinlu was still trying to save face. But the next day, Xie's group sent an official letter. Due to chaotic project management at Xingyao Technology, Beichen delivery is suspended. This time, Lin Jinlu couldn't hold it together anymore. After Xie suspended delivery, Xingyao's board called an emergency meeting. This time, Lin Jinlu couldn't keep me out because Xie explicitly demanded my attendance in the meeting room. The directors' faces were grim. Lin Jinlu sat at the head, obvious exhaustion in her eyes. Song Shen's seat was empty. 3 documents lay on the table. One was Xie's suspension notice. One was a lawyer's letter disputing Beichen's ownership. One was the investigation report on Song Jinchen's forged login records. Gu Qinzhen and I sat in the observer seats. Xie Chonghua didn't come in person. He sent Vice President Su Wan to attend. As soon as the meeting started, a director went on the attack. President Lin, whose work was the Beichen project really. Why was Song Jinchen packaged as the lead at the celebration? Why did Mr. Zhou only get a 5.000 bonus? Why didn't you explain Xie's additional terms to the board? Lin Jinlu's face went pale. She glanced at me, then quickly looked away. Beichen was indeed led by Yan Xin in the early stages, but the company also invested resources later. As for the celebration arrangement, that was my oversight. A director sneered. Oversight. Now Xie has suspended delivery and the project's valuation is damaged. That's not something oversight can fix. Another director asked directly, who recommended Song Jinchen to the company? The room went quiet. Lin Jinlu said softly, I did. Who verified his resume? The HR director's face turned pale. Mr. Lin gave special approval. The background check wasn't fully completed. Who made the call to appoint him as the head of the Beichen project? Lin. Jinlu closed her eyes. I did. Every answer felt like a slap to her face. Su Wan spoke up then. What Xie Group cares about isn't your internal accountability, but whether Beichen can still be delivered. He turned to look at me. Mr. Zhao. Xie Group wants to hear your opinion. Everyone looked at me. Lin Jianlu looked at me, too. In that moment, there was a familiar hope in her eyes. Every time the company had trouble before, she looked at me like this. She didn't say she was begging me, but she knew I'd step in because I loved her, because I couldn't stand to see her humiliated, because I always patched things up for her at the last second. But this time, I didn't. I opened my folder. My opinion is simple. First, Xingyao must publicly correct the authorship of the Beichen project. Second, revoke all project authorizations for Song Jingchen and publicly clarify his claim-jumping behavior. Third, Xingyao must compensate for losses caused by unauthorized use of Beichen materials in commercial promotions. Fourth, if future delivery continues in cooperation, our independent team must take over the underlying delivery. Xingyao only retains business coordination. The directors' faces changed. This meant Xingyao would shift from the lead to a supporting role. Lin Jianlu's voice tightened. Yanshi, you're trying to take Beichen away. I looked at her. Not take it away. Take it back. Her eyes reddened instantly. Do you have to be this ruthless? I asked. When you pushed Song Jingchen to the front at the celebration banquet, did you think about leaving me any room? She had nothing to say. Just then, the meeting room door swung open. Song Jingchen burst in. He clearly hadn't been allowed to attend, but he forced his way in. Lin Jianlu, you can't dump all the blame on me. Security chased after him. Lin Jianlu shot to her feet. Who let you in here? Song Jingchen sneered. If I didn't come in, I'd be waiting for you to sell me out. He slammed a stack of printed papers onto the conference table. Directors, do you really think President Lin didn't know anything? Lin Jinlu's face twisted. Song Jinchen pointed at her. You told me to be the lead speaker at the celebration banquet. You said Zhou Yanxi wasn't fit to take the stage. You said I should present the project as mine first, and you'd compensate him later. The room exploded. Lin Jinlu's face went ghostly white. You're lying. Song Jinchen laughed. Twisted. Lying. Then what are these? Chat records. He projected the chat screenshots onto the screen. There were Lin Jinlu's messages. You're on stage tonight. Beichin needs someone more suited for the capital market. I'll handle Yanxi. Do the bonus list as you said. But don't make it too ugly. Give him a participation award. Get the prenup signed ASAP. Beichin must stay stable under Xingyao. Every line was painfully clear. Lin Jinlu stood there as if all strength had drained from her. I looked at the screen. Honestly, I'd expected this. But seeing her write 5.000 yuan participation award in the chat with her own hands, my heart still went cold. So, it wasn't HR's mistake. Not Song Jinshin acting on his own. She knew. She always knew. Song Jinshin kept going. Now that things have gone south. You say I claimed it. Lin Jinlu, are you any cleaner than me? Chen Monru was also called in by the board in an emergency. She'd barely walked in when she heard that, and her face turned ugly instantly. Song Jinshin, shut up. Song Jinshin saw her and laughed even harder. Ms. Chen, don't rush. Wasn't the prenup your idea? 200.000 to buy out Beichin's permanent license. You two really know how to do business. The directors were completely unsettled. Suwon spoke coldly. Looks like Xie Group's decision to suspend delivery was the right one. I stood up and placed the last document on the table. Everyone, this is our formal notice. After the temporary license for the Beichin system expires, it will not be automatically renewed. The room went dead silent. Lin Jinlu whipped her head toward me. Zhao Yanxi. I didn't look at her. From now on, Xingyao Technology is not permitted to use the Beichin system for commercial promotion, client delivery, or fundraising presentations. I turned and walked out. Behind me, the boardroom fell into chaos. Lin Jinlu chased after me, her high heels wobbling off balance. Yanxi, let me explain. I stopped at the elevator. Explain the 5.000. Her face turned pale. I pressed the elevator button. Lin Jinlu, this time I'm not cleaning up your mess. Just before the elevator doors closed, I saw her tears fall. Tears that came too late can't save trust that's already expired. After the board meeting, Xingyao was in complete chaos. The directors demanded Lin Jinlu step down as president and cooperate with the Beichin project investigation. Song Jinshin was reported to the police by the company. Chen Monru's prenup and PR campaign flow were also dug up. Everyone started cutting ties. Everyone claimed they were just following orders. Only Lin Jinlu stood alone at the center of the storm. She finally tasted what it felt like to be interrogated by the whole world. But this time I wasn't by her side. 3 days later, Lin Jinlu came to my studio. It was my new rented office space. Small, only 6 desks. The whiteboard was covered with the restructured plan for Beichin's next phase. She stood at the door, staring for a long time. I looked up. Something wrong. She wore a light gray coat, her face haggard beyond belief. The Lin Jinlu who used to be surrounded by people wherever she went. Now even her eye makeup couldn't hide the exhaustion. Can I come in? I glanced at the security camera by the door. Sure, but it'll be recorded the whole time. She gave a bitter smile. You're this guarded against me now. Not against you, I said. It's to protect myself. She walked in and placed a file folder on the table. These are all of Song Jingshan's internal chat logs and the raw materials for his forged resume. I didn't open it. Give it to Gu Qing'en. She nodded. I already sent it to him. I asked, then why are you here? She was silent for a few seconds. I wanted to say sorry to you in person. I didn't say anything. Her eyes reddened. At the celebration banquet that day, I shouldn't have let Jingshan stand on stage. I looked at her. She continued. I signed off on the 5.000 bonus. I agreed to the prenup. I didn't write the PR articles myself, but I approved them. She listed them one by one. Her voice grew hoarser. I used to think I was protecting the company. I thought you were my fiancé and would understand that you wouldn't really hold it against me. I was wrong. She looked up at me. I treated your love like a credit line I could keep overdrawing. That hit the mark, but it came too late. I slid the water glass toward her. Anything else? She froze. Probably didn't expect me to be this calm. She whispered, Also, what happened between me and Song Jingshan isn't what you think. I raised an eyebrow. She rushed to explain. I admit I let him get close, and I admit I enjoyed his admiration, but I never actually I cut her off. Lin Jialu, that doesn't matter anymore. Her face went white. Doesn't matter. No. I looked at her. From the moment you walked him to the main table at the celebration banquet. From the moment you changed my name to participation award. From the moment you made me sign that prenup. Whether you two went all the way or not. It doesn't matter anymore. Her tears fell. But I still love you. I let out a small laugh. What do you love about me? She froze. Love that I stay up fixing your systems. Love that I take the heat for you in front of clients. Love that I never fight or grab for anything. Or love that I always swallow my grievances and move on. She couldn't speak. I answered for her. You don't love me. You love the Zhao Yanqi who always cleans up your mess. She sobbed, her shoulders shaking. I really know I was wrong. I nodded. Then go face the consequences. She looked up. What about us? There is no us anymore. Her fingers clenched the file folder tightly. The wedding is still a month away. The hotel, the invitations, the dress, they're all still there. Yanqi, if I apologize publicly, if I give Beichen back to you, if I send Song Jingchen away, can we start over? I leaned back in my chair. No. Her face turned deathly pale. Because you still think doing a few things right can cancel out everything you did wrong. I stood up and took a small box out of the drawer. Inside was the engagement ring. I placed the box in front of her. Here, take this back. She didn't dare reach for it. I don't want it. Then throw it away. Her tears hit the desk. Zhao Yanqi, how can you be so cruel? I looked at her. I'm not cruel. I've just finally stopped being cruel to myself. She froze completely. In every past argument, I was always the one to back down first. She was busy with work. I understood. She accompanied Song Jingchen on business trips. I endured it. She never explained my identity in front of others. I gave her face. She transferred me to the sidelines. I told myself it was just a temporary arrangement. I was never cruel to her. So, every blade landed on me. Now, I'm just taking the blade away. Yet, she thinks I'm cruel. Before Lin Jinla left, she asked softly, if there were no Song Jingchen, would things be different between us? I shook my head. Even without Song Jingchen, there would be someone else. She was stunned. I said, the problem was never his appearance. It was that you always kept a spot in your heart for someone else. She left in tears. After the door closed, I looked at the ring box on the table. My phone rang.
Gu Chenggan sent un message.
Song Jingchen has been officially placed under investigation. The Xingyao board is requesting negotiations. I replied, follow the contract. He asked again, what about Lin Jianlu? I looked toward the door. She has nothing to do with me anymore. A month later, the Beichen system was relaunched under the new name Yanqing Risk Control. This time, the organizer wasn't Xingyao. It was my newly established Yanqing technology. The Xie Group attended as the first batch of partners. The launch wasn't big, but everyone who came was a true insider in the industry. No champagne towers, no fake protagonists, no one claiming someone else's work as their own. I stood on stage and behind me, the big screen read, Yanqing Risk Control System, Core Architect, Zhou Yanqi. When those words appeared, the applause from the audience was steady, not exaggerated, but sincere. Xie Chonghua sat in the first row. Yi Lan attended as a compliance consultant. Gu Cheng'en sat in the corner, still holding documents. After I finished explaining the system architecture, Xie Chonghua came on stage to sign the formal cooperation agreement. He raised his glass to me. President Zhou, this toast finally goes to the right person. The audience laughed. I smiled, too. Those words felt like they completely turned the page on that absurd celebration a month ago. After the signing, there was a sudden stir at the entrance. Lin Jianlu had arrived. She didn't have an invitation, but the staff recognized her and hesitated whether to stop her. She wore a black suit, her hair tied low. She looked thinner overall. When I saw her, I wasn't surprised. She walked up to me, her voice very soft. Congratulations. I nodded. Thank you. She looked at the big screen with the words, Zhou Yanqi, and her eyes reddened. This position should have been yours from the start. I didn't respond. She lowered her head and pulled a document from her bag. The Xinyo board has passed a resolution to publicly correct the contribution statement for the Beichin project. Song Jingchen's bonus will be clawed back and the relevant compensation will be processed to you as per procedure. I said, give it to Gu Qinzhen. She nodded. I know. She paused, then added, I've resigned as president of Xinyo. I looked at her. She forced a smile. My mom is furious and the board won't trust me anymore. Actually, it's for the best. I can finally stop and think about what I've done. I said, that's your business. Her face paled. Yanqi, can't we even be friends anymore? I looked at her. No. Tears welled up in her eyes instantly. You weren't like this before. Before was before. I said, before I thought tolerance would earn me being cherished. Her voice trembled. And now I know that tolerance only makes people think I have no bottom line. She lowered her head, tears falling onto the document bag. People around us had started to notice. She took a deep breath as if finally making a decision. Yanqi, I came today for one more thing. She pulled an invitation from her bag. It was the invitation to our original wedding. The date was today. So, her choosing today wasn't a coincidence. She handed the invitation to me. I didn't cancel the hotel. I know it's ridiculous, but I keep thinking if I hadn't walked into that celebration with Song Jingchen on my arm, if I had told everyone from the start that Beichin was yours, if I hadn't taken the love you gave me for granted, we would have been married today. I looked at the invitation. Printed on it were our names, Zhou Yanqi, Lin Jinlu. Two names that had once been so close, now it feels like looking across a deep river. She choked out, I'm not here to force you. I just want to give this back to you. I didn't take the invitation. Lin Jinlu. She looked up. I said calmly, this invitation was void the moment you walked up to me with Song Jingshan at the celebration banquet. Her body swayed. I continued, you thought I pretended not to see it back then. That was because I was afraid of losing face. Actually, no, I finally saw it. Her tears kept falling. Saw what? Saw that in your heart I don't even deserve the respect of being acknowledged. She covered her mouth, crying so hard she couldn't speak. I turned to leave. She suddenly reached out and grabbed my sleeve. Yanqi, one last time. Can you turn around one last time? I looked down at her hand. Then little by little I pulled my sleeve back. No. She froze in place. I walked back into the venue. The host was just announcing the start of the banquet. Xie Chongyu walked over with a glass of wine. President Zhou, you're at the head table tonight. I nodded. All right. I walked toward the head table. This time no one put me in a corner. No one asked me to give up my seat for someone else. No one said I was just a participant. As I sat down, Lin Jinlu was still standing at the door. She watched me as if she finally understood some positions aren't mine to return to just because she wants me back. After the banquet started, Xie Chongyu toasted me again. The cameras were on us. Everyone applauded. I raised my glass and drank calmly. At the door, Lin Jinlu finally turned and left. She came holding a void wedding invitation. She left with an empty silhouette as if she had discarded her entire past. And I didn't chase after her. Not once. 6 months later, Yanqing Technology moved into a new office. It wasn't big. 2 floors. One for R&D, one for delivery. There was no luxurious front desk at the entrance. Just a white wall. On the white wall was a single sentence. Results must have names. Collaborations must have boundaries. This was the first principle I personally set for the company after Beijing changed its name to Yanqing. It secured 3 major clients in a row. The SIA project was delivered smoothly. The valuation that Xingyao had lost eventually became Yanqing's first round of funding. Old Xing also came on his first day. He stood at the office entrance for a long time. Yan Chino, President Zhao, I never thought I'd be working under you again. I smiled and handed him his badge. Cut it out. Just call me by my name. He took the badge, looked at the words Core Development Lead, and his eyes reddened. Back at Xingyao. No matter how much we did, no one saw it. I said, that won't happen here. Ilan joined Yanqing later. She was in charge of compliance. At her first meeting, she wrote the authorization process more detailed than a legal code. Someone complained it was too much trouble. She only said one thing: the trouble is so no one can take things from you without permission later. The meeting room went silent. I looked at that process and didn't object to a single word because I knew better than anyone what it felt like to have your name taken away. Song Jingshin's case also had its outcome: falsified resume, misappropriation of company data, maliciously fabricating evidence to call the police, trade secret infringement, multiple charges stacked up. He not only had to pay compensation, but was also blacklisted from the industry. I heard that on the day he left, he made a huge scene outside Xingyao's building. He said Lin Jinlu burned the bridge after crossing it. He said Qin Manru used him. He said everyone was dirty, but no one listened to his excuses anymore. A man who climbed to the top by stealing from others looks ridiculous when he falls, even when he cries foul. Xingyao also paid the price. After Lin Jinlu resigned as president, the board was restructured. Qin Manru was banned from interfering in company affairs. Xingyao issued a public apology to me, compensated for the infringement of rights, and retracted all false statements. When that apology was released, many people tagged me. They asked if I would forgive. I didn't respond. Forgiveness is a very personal thing. I don't owe anyone an explanation. A few days later, Lin Jianlu sent me an email. It wasn't long. She said she sold the apartment she had prepared for their wedding. She said she had watched the video from the celebration banquet many times. She said what hurt her most wasn't that she froze when Xia Chongyu toasted me. It was that I never looked at her once the entire time. She said she only understood later that wasn't coldness. It was that I had stopped waiting for her to see me. At the end of the email, she wrote, "Yanqi, I finally understand. You didn't suddenly stop loving me. It was me, time and again, who taught you how to stop." I finished reading and filed the email away. No reply. That evening, I stayed at the office to work overtime. Outside the window, lights flickered on layer by layer. On my computer screen was the test report for the Yanqing Phase 2 system. Old Jiang knocked and came in holding 2 portions of late-night snacks. Still not leaving. I took one. Almost done. He sat down on the chair and suddenly laughed. "You're way more human now than before." I looked up. "Was I not before?" "Before, you were like an automatic repair machine," he said. "Whoever made a mess, you fixed it. Whoever dropped a disaster, you picked it up. No one seemed to care if you were hurting." I smiled. "Someone does now." "Who?" I pointed at myself. "Me." Old Jiang froze for a second, then laughed, too. At that moment, I suddenly felt that all the tug of war, the settling of scores, the falling out, the leaving over the past 6 months, it was all worth it. I didn't fight back just to make Lin Jianlu regret it. I didn't stick it out just to see Song Jinshin suffer. I did it to pull myself out of that corner. From the most remote seat at the celebration banquet, back to the main table. From the 5,000 yuan participation award, back to real credit from Don't Make a Scene, back to I have the right from You're Just Jealous, back to You Crossed the Line. My phone suddenly lit up. It was a text from an unknown number. "Yanjing. I passed by Xia's building today and saw the Yanjing ad. You're on it. You look great." I didn't need to see the name to know who it was. Another message came quickly. "I won't bother you again. Just wanted to say congratulations." I stared at the screen for a few seconds. Then I deleted it. Old Jiang asked, "Who was that?" I put the phone face down. "No one important." He nodded and didn't ask further. At 11:00 p.m., I left the office. As the elevator descended, the mirror reflected my face. A bit thinner than 6 months ago, but calmer. I thought back to that celebration banquet. Lin Jianlu, arm in arm with Song Jingshin, walked right past me. She thought I pretended not to see, but I saw it all clearly. I saw her favoritism. I saw Song Jingshin's smugness. And I saw how ridiculous I'd been all these years. Later, Xia Chonghua came to toast me. When she brushed past me, she froze on the spot. At that moment, she finally realized that the person she'd always overlooked was the one she couldn't afford to lose. But a trump card isn't meant to be used up. Neither is a person. The elevator doors opened. The night wind hit my face. I walked out of the building and saw the Yenjing technology sign glowing on the rooftop. Not too bright, but clear enough. I stood by the roadside, looked up at it for a while. Then I smiled. I used to think that loving someone meant taking a step back. Later, I learned that some people won't cherish you for stepping back. They'll just give the space you vacated to someone else. So, from now on, I'm not stepping back. My achievements, I'll sign them myself. My boundaries, I'll guard them myself. My life, I'll sit at the main table myself. As for Lin Jianlu, she can regret, she can reminisce, she can think back in countless nights to that toast the chairman made to the wrong seat. But that has nothing to do with me anymore. I won't explain. I won't forgive. I won't look back. That night at the celebration banquet, she walked toward the applause with someone else on her arm. And I, from that moment on, walked back into my own life,